All right, that should work. We should be back. All the technical glitches are taken care of. Hello again, and welcome back, Uncanny Adventures, for our Beneath the Burning Sun Call of Cthulhu game. We've been away a little bit. Scheduling's been a little hokey with everything going on, but we're back. Last time we played, we had some planning and some organizing in the town of Shade to get a larger posse together to go after the outlaws who kidnapped the mayor's daughter, and to see if the group can bring her back safely. And also, during the night when they rested, there was some more dreams of some dark water and drowning, and just a bit unnerving for some of the members of the party here. So, but we're gonna go around and say hi, and then we're gonna jump back in and see what happens this week. See if we can save this little girl. We'll find out. So we'll start with Ray. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Trying to keep it together now. Yeah, I'm playing Samuel, the geologist, and hopefully we get to where we're going with this fort situation.
Indeed. And how about Anarch Dovey?
Hello, Anarch Dovey, and I'm playing Baxter. And I'm the one that made all the plans here.
Yep, the 14-year-old young man has taken charge and is making arrangements for things. We'll see how they go. And Theater Nerd.
Hi, my name is Theater Nerd. I don't know why that was such a hesitant statement that I just made. I'm excited to be back. I have realized I might have to come up with a new character concept and be ready in the wings. Not necessarily because I'm going to die tonight, but if we keep having these nightmares, I might go insane. So, which could be fun to play, I suppose. Just be a thorn in everyone else's side. It's fine. Yes, I got nothing else. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. And hi, I'm Jeanette. I'm your keeper for this game. And so just to point out, Ray, you still have a success. So you still have one success left over from donations. I also have, it looks like, an advantage. So, what will I use that for? Maybe something tonight. Who knows? But if anybody wants to pass out successes, failures, advantages, disadvantages, there are donations listed below, and we will add those in, and you can help or hinder our adventurers. Also, thanks for the host. And this is Cthulhu, so sometimes there's things that make people crazy. There's some horror-based stuff and things like that. So if anybody needs to step away or anything like that, please do. We try to use a safety system if something's uncomfortable. We try to avoid, really things that would upset anybody. So just be aware. It's Cthulhu, so yeah, it happens. Hopefully not. But when we come back to the town of Shade has had some trouble of late. A bank robbery that was thwarted by many members of this party here today. The mayor's daughter was kidnapped during the bank robbery and was ridden out of town by the group of outlaws who did get away. One young man was left behind sort of as a scapegoat and was taken in for questioning after he was shot and nearly killed during the ending of this robbery. But he gave the group a lot of information about this preacher who has been in and out of town for a long time, but he's like a holy, Bible-thumping, very much like in-your-face kind of fellow when it comes to his faith. And the local pastor is he sees him as more of a little bit out there on how his faith is a little bit odd. And he seems to have this group that he's sort of brought in around him to sort of help him kind of build up whatever he's trying to do in this moment. So, Baxter, you had set up with the local blacksmith to get a cart kind of modified with some shielding for this trip up to the Spanish fort that is in the mountains. And after you had settled your plans and the rest of you had sort of moved about town for the evening and kind of checked in on some information and some of your other allies and things like that, you had all settled off to bed, or you all had some pretty dark nightmares. Familiar to some, Baxter, this was probably your first experience with it. And when the Marshal got up, dumped her basin of water that was there for cleaning purposes out because she has no interest in being anywhere near the water at the moment, and then decided to sort of start her day a little bit early. She made her way downstairs through the boarding house and outside onto the porch when a large group has ridden up. And Marshal, you realize that these are apparently the members of the posse that George Martin's men went back to retrieve. They're various, some of them are probably people who work for Martin himself. Some of them probably work for some of the other farms and things and other ranches around the area. But there's a decent amount of people that they have brought back with them. There's about 24 posse members who ride up. And what do you do as you see these this group riding up on you this morning, as you're kind of in a bit of a quandary headspace first thing?
Well, I think when I hear the horse hooves, my first reaction would be to draw my pistol. But as soon as I realize who it actually is, I put it away reluctantly. I don't want to cause any more problems between Martin and I for the time being. But I probably continue to saddle up my horse and get ready to ride.
All right. So two of the fellows dismount, and you recognize them. They rode with you in the original posse that headed out of town just after the bank robbery. And they walk over, and they say, "Good morning. Seeing Mr. Martin around this morning? We're back with our fellows here to help with this situation."
I have not seen him yet. I was saddling up my horse. Those are the words I was looking for. Saddling up my horse to prepare him and myself for getting ready to leave.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll go look for Mr. Martin. Come on, y'all. Let's get something to eat this morning first thing. And they all start tying off their horses and dismounting and getting ready to go into the boarding house and get something to eat first thing this morning. And where are you heading, Marshal?
As soon as I'm done, I think I'm going to head off to find the boys.
Okay.
Remind me, does anyone remember, are they at the boarding house or are they still at the church?
You know that they all went back, the sister and Baxter and Samuel all went back to the church for the evening.
I thought there was discussion of maybe staying at the boarding house. I don't remember anymore.
There had been a little bit of back and forth about that, but with the free room and board offered by the priest, it was decided to take him up on his offer.
Perfect. Well, then I'm going to go to the church.
All right, so you're heading back to the church. So meanwhile, back in the church, Samuel and Baxter, you both found yourself awakened very suddenly just from these dreams. Samuel, I believe you ended up tumbling out of bed onto the floor, and Baxter, you sat up with a shout, just a surprise shout. And you two just find yourself kind of in the early morning hours, sort of looking at each other in this moment of surprise. What's going on?
silence.
Yeah, I think Samuel's trying to I guess get himself together. He's a little in shock and not really sure what's going on or how to process any of that. He also is, I guess, kind of maybe feeling that perhaps this is a late thing related to the war, maybe in some sort of weird I don't know what it was referred to in that time period, but it's maybe like late shell shock kicking in.
A little, what we would refer to as PTSD.
Yes.
Yep. So as you two sit in silence for a moment, you hear hurried footsteps outside the door, and then a quiet tap, 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 tap on the door. And you hear the priest, "Hello? Is everything all right? I heard a shout."
Everything's gonna be fine, Father.
He cracks the door open slightly. He's got a lantern in hand as it's still a little dark. And he looks around. He says, "Oh, all right. You're okay, though. I was startled awake by the shout. I wasn't sure what it was."
Just a few unpleasant dreams.
Oh, no, not you as well. I've had many of my parishioners have complained of terrible dreams over the last few months.
Is that common around here?
It's been more common of late. Just dark thoughts. Maybe just the mood of the town, I thought, is what's been going on. But you haven't been here all that long.
No. This is quite concerning. Would you say this started around the same time the other events in the town were occurring?
Perhaps it's been, I mean, I'd say at least 2.5 months. There was one or two here and there, but as the weeks have gone by, I've heard more complaints of these night terrors that I've started to refer to them as. Did it have to do, most tell me it's the sensation of being beneath the water, drowning, feeling weighed down, looking up and not being able to reach out and get away?
Yeah, that nail on the head I think.
Yes, I'm very concerned. We've had a few people who have, just the other morning, the young man throwing himself in the trough, first thing, his fellows had to drag him out. They get very, very troublesome, and they afflict people very differently. Some are just a little shaken, and others almost seem to completely lose themselves from this experience.
That's deeply disturbing. Hopefully we will be able to figure out what is causing this.
I do hope so. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know.
Of course.
Oh, I don't want to keep you then. If you're all right, I'll let you get on with things. I know you have a busy day ahead of you.
Yes, we have a full schedule today, apparently.
All right then. He slowly pulls the door shut, latches it, and you hear his footsteps receding away.
Samuel's gonna get himself together and I guess wait for Baxter, and then head out.
All right, Baxter, what are you up to? Are you gonna get up, or are you gonna go back to sleep this morning?
How like what is the time?
It's just probably about 6 a.m. The sun's coming up outside, but it's still, dim. Like that the priest would need his lantern to see a little bit. But it is probably about time to, it's just about dawn.
I don't think Baxter will get any more sleep this night. It's like day morning, so Baxter will start preparing.
All right. So you two both get yourselves ready, and just as you're kind of finishing up getting ready, the marshal shows up at the church, and the church is not locked, Marshal, so you can walk right in. You actually see Reverend Bowman is sort of busying himself doing like first thing early morning chores, kind of sweeping and things like that as you come in, and he looks up when you come in and he gives you a nod. And hello, are you looking for your friends?
Yes, Father.
Just down the hall there. Doors on the right is your two gentlemen friends, and on the left is the sister.
She will tip her hat and walk down the hallway.
And you can
Right.
hear from the door on the right, you can hear Baxter and Samuel getting prepared, getting ready.
I'm ready when you are, boys.
Just a few more seconds. We had a little bit of a setback this morning.
Well, I had setback number 2 this morning.
I guess at this point, Samuel comes out, and apparently that's a common thing around here.
Oh, well, that's not sure if that makes me feel better about being around here.
Does not make me feel any better about being here at all.
Kind of.
Apparently,
Go ahead.
apparently the myself included, the dreams are about being submerged underwater and dark thoughts. It was very very real last night for me, so I'm a little shooken up about it.
I might have spilled my basin of water at the boarding house. I feel kind of bad, but I don't really want to be around any water.
That makes sense.
Saddling up my horse near the water trough was hard enough.
I guess we should get going since we have other plans today.
Yep, we've got a girl to save. Hopefully without a lot of bloodshed, but
That would be preferred.
I feel like if the geography is as they say it is, we're going to get shot at before we're close enough to shoot back.
Well, hopefully with this new contraption, we might have a better chance.
Maybe. I hope so.
So the sister comes out and she just gives you both a nod and says, "Good morning. Perhaps we should get something to eat before we start this day." And she very, quickly walks past out, heading out to the front of the church. Not very talkative.
I guess I followed.
All right.
Yes.
So do you all head off to the boarding house to get a meal and to catch up with the rest of the group that you were
Yeah.
traveling with this morning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you head back through town. There's no other activity. Do you all talk about anything else as you make your way back to Reedstrom's boarding house, or do you kind of have a quiet sort of stroll back?
I think the marshal is quiet.
Samuel is definitely quiet, but he usually keeps to himself anyway.
The Baxter is quiet.
All right. So as you arrive back to the boarding house, Baxter and Samuel, you note the large number of horses that are tethered outside and around the boarding house. And you can hear, as you come up the street, the conversation coming out of the boarding house. So there's quite a few people who seem to have gone there first thing this morning. And the marshal, if she wants to, can tell you that apparently this is George Martin's group that has been sent back.
I think I might mention that on our way back, just so that they're not surprised by the number of horses and people around. Probably as we get closer to the boarding house from the church, I'll mention, George Martin's. I keep wanting to call him George R.R. Martin. Never mind. Martin's guys are at the boarding house eating right now. I'm sure if he's around, he'll want to take charge of all of this, so we might as well just let him and go from there.
So as the marshal fills you in on that, and you come up the steps of the boarding house and sort of open, the doors to step inward, you see these 24 unfamiliar faces sort of mingling about, sitting about, eating breakfast. You see Lance Reedstrom is moving about between the tables, sort of serving people and, busying himself. That his daughter's not here to help because she's currently recovering from being shot during the robbery. So he's kind of handling this all by himself. And you can see at one corner table, George Martin is sitting with the local marshal. They seem to be in conversation kind of off in one of the corners as you come in. And Reedstrom looks up as you come in. He's like, hello, welcome back. There's plenty of spaces still to sit if you're hungry. As he bustles back off to the kitchen to collect some more dishes and things like that to bring out to these fellows. The marshal sort of looks in your direction and kind of like nods his head. It seems like he's welcoming you to come and sit in with him and George Martin if you choose to, or you can sit wherever you want inside.
I'm going to go with the marshal and Martin.
Okay.
I guess Samuel's gonna follow the marshal.
How about you, Baxter?
Baxter will follow and take something real quick to eat.
All right. So food is brought out, and the marshal nods as you come and sit down, and George Martin is sitting back. It looks like, kind of a little bit the head honcho like attitude about him. He says, good morning to y'all. You don't look like you rested too well. You ready for this these next few days? Gonna be a bit hard on everybody.
I think there's a long pause from the marshal, and she'll respond, ready as I can possibly be given everything that's happened in the last day or two.
Well, you don't need to worry. I've got this fine group of people here who have volunteered to join us and to make sure that if nothing else, we've got the numbers that we need to go and root these people out from this fort and bring back this little girl and bring these other to justice. Don't you worry. I've made sure that everybody's brought decent length of rope for those outlaws.
Perfect.
Marshal Hopper gives Marshal Samuel just a sideways look, like this understanding look between you two, as he seems very put off by George Martin's just kind of take in charge attitude. And then the door of the boarding house opens, and in comes Jake Parker, the store owner. He comes in, looks around, kind of pushes his hat up on his head, and then he stops and looks down and turns around and goes back out the door, and then he comes back in a few minutes later. And this time he's carrying the rifle that he was given to take on the trip with you originally. And he comes walking in. He's like, good morning. Hello there, my friends. And you remember Jake.
Yep, I'm going to look over at him and go, I suppose you didn't have a choice again, right?
Nope. The wife got me out of bed first thing this morning. I actually tried to, I was going to try to sneak off and be busy doing some other things and hope that I missed y'all. No offense. But I think she knew. And so she got up first thing and she made sure I headed over here. In fact, if you look out the door, she may be watching to make sure I don't slip out the back.
Well, fantastic. We could use another person.
Yep, I did some practicing last night with well, I didn't actually pull the trigger, but I tried aiming the gun a couple times, and I think I'm getting better at it.
It doesn't help if you don't pull the. Never mind. Good job on the practicing.
Thank you.
I'll make sure. Do my best to keep you safe, or at least give you a good story to tell your wife when we return.
Much appreciated. I think she's hoping I come back with some kind of scar to make it look like I'm a little tougher than I am.
Well, we can make that happen. Never mind.
Oh.
Without like you actually having to fight.
No, I'm good without having a scar. I'm okay.
Okay. Well, don't say I didn't offer.
Okay, maybe we'll revisit that if it's necessary.
I would just hate for her to. Never mind.
He looks around and finds himself at a seat, not at your table, but kind of nearby. And he goes to like put the gun down and kind of like balance it against the table, and it starts to fall, and he catches it and he tries again. And as Lance Reedstrom comes by, he sort of grabs it from him and says, "I'll just give this back to you when you're ready to go." Okay. And he walks away with the gun and disappears again as he's moving about.
Reedstrom is the true MVP in all of this.
So Martin looks at you all and he says, "So, we've got a couple days ride up into those mountains. They've got a head start on us now, but now we've got the numbers. My men, they chased after them for a ways, but they weren't able to keep up. Now your school teacher friend says that we may be able to get some more assistance from the village up in the hills a little south of the fort. He's friendly with them, so we'll make sure to make a stop there on the way and see what we can we could do."
Can I suggest that a small number of us goes into the village, as to not spook them into attacking us prior to getting to the fort? Because we kind of have intimidating large amounts of numbers.
Thinks about that. Why don't you roll me a persuasion roll? Just to see. He seems you can have an advantage die, as it's pretty good advice. Oh my. He looks at you and he says, well now. He says, "I don't think there's anything wrong with showing what our numbers are, that we're prepared, and I think it would make them more willing to step up and assist us than if we just send a small group. And what if the school teacher his information's bad, and we send a few people and something goes wrong and now they can't defend themselves?"
I'm willing to take that risk upon myself.
All right, so you're traveling north past Hobbs Farm. Jake is chit-chatting with Baxter because he seems nervous, and chit-chatting seems to help, and then he gets quiet again. And you pass the farm without any trouble, continuing to head north. As you do, Marshall, you're riding with the rest of the group, and Henry Potts, the school teacher, is sort of riding up alongside you in the lead group, and he says, "So, I heard you mention this morning, we're gonna make a stop in the village and just to check on things there, make sure everybody's okay, seeing as they're so close to this fort and these individuals. I'm just hoping that we don't have a repeat of what happened at the farm here."
I'm hoping the same, and I'm hoping that possibly we can recruit a few others. A handful of other warriors that I would expect are in the village.
Yep, there's I mean, it's a small village. There's about probably 20 or so adults that live there with their families and whatnot. They just kind of keep to themselves, but I've been up there here and there. I've gotten real close with her name's Lotea, but she's real nice. Just very very kind to me. We met by accident. I was out riding in the hills, and I actually got thrown from my horse, and she was very kind to me and took care of me and helped me. I sort of threw my ankle when I got thrown, and she made sure that I got back safely, and we sort of hit it off. And I'm just hoping that everything's okay. I don't know.
Well, are you prepared should we see another massacre like we saw at the farm?
Oh, I'm hoping that I mean, I don't think that they'd hurt them. I think that the Tatanka would talk them down. He's the older medicine man of the tribe, and he's a good fellow and calming presence and all that. I think that I mean, I don't know. And he gets really tense when you mention whether or not he'd be able to handle if there was anything that happened to them.
At this point, after seeing what happened at the farm, I wouldn't put anything past them. If we're not ridding the world of our worldly wealth and fire and brimstone, like Smythe says we should be, I think we'll have a problem. They might have a problem.
I really hope not. That makes me really nervous, but
Well, I've got Martin willing to allow you and I, or a small group of us, to ride in to the village without the rest of the group. Do you want to go, or do you want me to find someone else?
no. I want to go. I want to make sure that everyone's all right. I'm fine. Like I'll be all right. I can handle this no matter what. It'll be all right.
Can I make a psychology roll? I want to know what he's really thinking.
Sure. You can roll a psychology roll for me.
Oh, cool. That's like almost worth a luck for.
Let's see. It's 1 point of luck.
I know I'm gonna do it.
All right. So he seems yeah, like you get the feeling, especially when you bring up like if something bad happened, like he is really concerned that something bad happened. Like you get the feeling that he is way more invested in this young woman and her village than he's trying to let on. He's trying to keep like like, well, we're just sort of casually acquainted. You definitely feel like he's probably in love with this woman. Like it's if something happened, he's probably going to be very distraught that something happened.
Okay, cool. I just want to mentally be prepared for this fact. And I think what I'll do, if I'm not like close enough to reach out like to his shoulder, I will get Marshal close enough that I can like give him a firm pat, like I got your back, kind of a pat on the shoulder.
All right, yeah, and he kind of looks at you and you get the like this nod, like he appreciates the concern, and but he keeps that kind of like serious, he's gonna be fine expression going on his face. And as you have continued to ride and chit chat, it's been another about an hour and a half or so riding north of the farm. Things have been quiet. Why don't you all roll me spot hidden rolls, and Samuel, up on the back of the wagon, you can roll with an advantage because you kind of have a better perch up there.
I actually succeeded with the same roll as the last time.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Excellent. All right.
I just have had bad roll 20 luck lately, so
it happens. I've had it too. So, the Marshal, Samuel, you notice first, but the Marshal notices from shortly after, up ahead, as you're riding, you've sort of come to a point where this dirt kind of path has sort of led between a couple of like low hill areas where on either side the hills kind of are up higher than the ground where you all are as you're following it along. and you both notice up ahead, there's a couple of buzzards in the sky. Probably maybe about a half mile or so further up. And they're kind of wheeling about in the sky. And you both sort of get the feeling that's a little bit strange. Like maybe something is drawn their attention up there for them to be wheeling around up there the way they are. So it just kind of unsettles you both. Like maybe you should be a little bit cautious.
Samuel's gonna, I guess, tap the wagon to try and get somebody's attention, preferably like the driver or the two guys in the front, and just casually say like, "Keep your eyes open."
All right. And both Samuel and Marshall, you can roll me another spot hidden roll since you noticed the buzzards wheeling about.
Ooh.
All right. That's really good. Nice. All right. So you tell them, Samuel, you tell them to keep an eye out. You kind of... Oh, bless you.
Sorry, I was trying to mute. It came too quickly.
No worries. You kind of make eye contact with Marshal Wallace, and as you warn the drivers to kind of keep a lookout, they start looking around left and right. Baxter, you hear this warning, like Samuel warning them from inside the cart, and Jake does too, and Jake's like looking around. He kind of like picks up his rifle and is like looking through the slit. And then Samuel and Marshall, you notice further up, on either side of this, where this road kind of passes through, and there's some, like, it gets a little bit rockier, and the little bit, like, hills have some more crags and things to kind of, where somebody could hide. You both notice what looks like movement on either side of this roadway, up on, like maybe there's something moving on, trying to reposition themselves up above.
Can I tell if it's native or am I not close enough?
You can't tell specifically, but you do get the feeling like it's people.
I immediately tell the wagon to stop
Okay.
because it's too big to to get caught in a thing like that if there's actually people there.
Can I make eye contact with the teacher and ride slightly forward of the rest of the group? Like still within like quick, like if someone had to sprint their horse to get to me, I'm not so far that couldn't happen.
Okay.
But kind of as a like, we mean no harm, like we're here to talk, like, and I'll keep my pistols within reach, but not drawn at the moment.
All right. So you motion to the teacher who shit, what was his first name again? Henry. You motion to Henry, and he kind of gives you a look, and he looks a little nervous, but he'll ride up alongside you as you sort of ride out in front of everyone. You have a little distance. And what do you say? What do you do? Henry quietly sort of sits beside you, kind of looking from left to right, nervously.
We mean you no harm, and I think she'll take like one hand off of the rein for Marshall. As a like, I'm not here to hurt you. We need safe passage. Like, please let us through.
So you hold up your hands and you say that, and as you wait a beat to see what happens, you hear two shots ring out from the direction of these moving figures. So
it's gun and not arrow fire.
It is two gunshots that ring out in your direction.
Okay, well then it's the jerk faces. So cool.
So, and with your really good spot hidden roll, when the gunshots ring out, you see the individuals sort of they come into view a little bit now, and you can see on the right hand side you see let's see. You don't recognize this fellow. You haven't seen him before, but he's a bearded man. Looks kind of pretty unkempt. big mustache, really wild curly hair. That's on the right-hand side of you, up on the hill. And then tucked up on the rocks, up on the left-hand side, you see a familiar figure. And this is the gunslinger Boston from the
Shit.
Rattler, from the bar. And he pops up. And so each of them fire a shot in the direction of your group. And let's see. So
Let's just get 100. Roll
If-
100.
If Samuel has enough time to, he would like to try and jump down off the wagon.
I will say, if you want, if your response is to jump for cover, Samuel, like you could do that. That will just forfeit you like firing back in this round. It's basically like taking a dodge.
Yeah, I assume like after hearing the gunshots, he's kind of in the most open position. So not getting shot is better than shooting at this point.
Very fair. All
I
right.
plan to take shots back, but
So
I'm in the open.
that's true. But I also am closer than anyone else.
so oof, ouch. The first fellow, so the one that you don't really recognize, Marshall, fires a shot in your direction. And do you want to try and like
There's two of them.
there's two of them. This is the first one fires and Boston is firing next.
I mean, this is a shit situation to be in either way. I guess I might as well try to dodge. I mean, what do I have to lose?
That's fair. So you can roll me a dodge roll. Oh. So you attempt to dodge and are unsuccessful as you feel the bullet hit you. Let's see. Ouch. Oh. How many hit points do you have?
Luckily that's not half because I have 26.
That's fair. So Marshall, you take a solid hit from this this bearded fellow in the hills. And Boston fires. He fires a shot.
What happened to your bad luck, Jeanette?
I don't know. I'm sorry. He fires a shot at the and it hits one of the two individuals who are actually driving the wagon. And let's see.
What happened to not wanting us to die?
I don't want you to die. I swear. Oh my god. I really don't. I promise. So Mordecai takes a bullet.
I mean, I feel less bad about Martin's guys. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I can understand. So Mordecai does take a bullet, though, from this. Let's see. How many hit points does Mordecai have? Oof. All right. So I'm going to roll a constitution roll for Mordecai.
I'm shooting back. Damn it.
That's fair. Mordecai does not pass out from this wound, but he is seriously wounded by this shot. And then I need to know, what are your dexterities, my friends?
30.
30.
My dexterity is
70.
70.
Nice.
Oh, that's a real great.
That's a lot of sun. I was going to say something.
It just got low enough. I'm going to go turn on some other lights so I don't look extremely radiant right now. Although I kind of like being radiant.
I don't think it fits the mood there very well.
No, although it is morning. The sun could be, coming up above the hills. It could be appropriate.
It's true. All right, so let's see here. So, Samuel, you throw yourself off the top of the cart to get out of the way, and you hear the two gunshots go off, and you hear Mordecai react to being shot, and next to him, Elvin sort of grabs hold of him so he doesn't go off the top of the cart while he's still trying to hold the reins and keep the horses from taking off. But your action to get off the cart kind of like takes away from you being able to respond this turn. Meanwhile, Baxter, you're inside the wagon here, and you hear both gunshots ring out as Jake sort of like ducks down from the hole where he was kind of looking to see what was going on. And what do you want to do? As you probably see Samuel outside the window at the back kind of come off the top of the cart in a rush.
And I go to the back window and I ask, like, which window did that shot come from?
And Samuel, you saw a gunman on the left rise, and you saw a gunman up on the left and up on the right, and you definitely recognized that up on the left was Boston, the gunslinger that shot the fellow in the saloon in front of you all.
Yeah, so Samuel will just respond with, in front of us on both sides of the rocks, we got that fancy gunslinger from the bar. And we got 2 people hit already.
Well, let's see how good a shot he is. And I go to the left side and I turn to the was it Peter?
Jake is inside the wagon with you.
Yeah, Jake, go to the other side, and I.
All right. He crawls across the seat toward the other side.
And I go and I stick out the rifle out and take an aim.
This man doesn't know how to pull a trigger. He's only aimed.
Oh, so when you stick your gun out the slit, you're looking for him in the rocks. You're gonna have a penalty die because he does have cover inside these rocks where he's hiding. So you will have a penalty die to shoot at Boston, but you can kind of make out where he is up there.
Can I wait to take an action, to take a reaction to avoid the penalty?
Oh, so you kind of want to hold and try to shoot him when he comes out of cover to shoot back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I can say that you can kind of hang on and try to get him in that sense. Yep. That's fine. So you kind of ready. You aim into the rocks. You can kind of make out where he is, but you sort of hold as he
I tell Jake to hold if the guy's hiding, and use the dot on the inside, not the backside.
He gives you a nod like okay. So Marshal Otis also he dove for cover. George Martin is taking cover. The other members of the posse, so they're kind of taking a moment to kind of get behind some of the rocks and things here, so they don't fire back just yet. Henry Potts also kind of leaps down from his saddle, but he leaps down on the side where you are, Marshal, and he sort of looks up at you and he's like, "We should get under cover." And what do you want to do as he is trying to move his horse and kind of get away? But he's looking at you where you've been shot and wounded, and he looks very concerned.
He can get away.
All right. If you give him a look to go, he'll sort of move behind the nearest cover.
I'll give him like the head nod, like go on, without like taking my eyes off the hills.
Okay.
Or the rocks.
And
this would be where dynamite would be fantastic. Anyway.
Different character.
Yeah, I know. That's why
we do have dynamite somewhere, right?
Possibly.
Like we have, because we asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually want to chuck dynamite at that just is never mind. Yeah, no, I'm not ducking for cover.
Okay. Marshall stands her ground. Who do you fire at? You can see O'Neill up on the right-hand side. He's the one that just shot you. You can see Boston is up on the left-hand side. It looks like he seriously wounded Mordecai on top of the cart.
Well, I've had beef with Boston since the beginning. But I really don't like O'Neill in the moment, so I think I'm gonna draw.
I don't think you ever met Boston.
We all were in that.
Oh yeah,
bar.
you were all there for that one.
That was the first session. We were all in the bar, and I wanted to have a duel right there, but Jeanette didn't let me. It's fine. Best to not die the first session. So she'll pull out her 2 pistols and shoot in the direction of O'Neill with the penalty die.
Okay.
I have an 80 in handguns, so I'm hoping this works in my advantage, even with a penalty die.
Sounds like a plan.
So there's shot 1. That would be a hard success on a negative.
That would be. Ooh.
Papa!
All right, so he will attempt to dodge, and it'll be the first one. So let's see. You had a hard success, so he needs an extreme success to dodge this. His dodge is he does not dodge it, and then he takes the other shot as well.
Oh, I should, actually type roll or R. That would be helpful. Well, not nearly as good as your damage, but I dealt him back the damage he dealt me. It's cool.
All right, so you fire into the hill. You see him recoil backward, and you can see the blood kind of splatter the rocks near him as you know that both shots hit home, and you think that you did some serious damage to him already in these 2 shots. And then we come back around, and Boston is going to level his gun, and he's going to try to shoot at the other fellow on top of the cart. Let's see.
I get to my.
And so then that's what I was going to say. So he kind of brings himself up to get a clear shot, Baxter, and he's pointing the gun toward the cart. And at that moment, you kind of can see him more clearly in that instant. So you can kind of take your shot at him from here.
Yeah, so this was like aiming. So, right, so I get the...
Mm-hmm.
Come on, get him. That's the opposite of getting him.
All right, so you fire your gun from inside the cart, and just the maybe just aiming from here is a little bit difficult, but the bullet goes a little bit wide, but because you distract him a little bit, he's going to have a disadvantage die on his roll because, well, he can't
get a good aim.
Get a good shot. So he will roll
giggity.
But even with disadvantage, he will still shoot and hit. And he hits Elvin in the other seat as Elvin is trying to lean over and try to help Mordecai with his wound. And that is going to be... All right, so it grazes across like Elvin's shoulder, like it goes through his shoulder, but it's not as bad of a wound as it was for Mordecai. But he's going to have to roll an animal handle check because the horses are getting agitated and he is trying to keep his grip on the reins here. So let's see. Animal handle. All right, not bad. Oh, excellent. But Elvin is a very talented horseman. He is able to grab the reins, not lose control of the horses. He kind of reins them in before they freak out and bolt, and keeps the cart from heading down further into this pass. Meanwhile, O'Neill, he just got shot. He is going to turn around and he's going to fire back, but this time, Marshall, he sort of looks in your direction, but he also has a penalty die now because he has been wounded and thrown off his game, which is probably good because that's high. Come on, roll 20.
Nat, I lie about rolling poorly. Oh, there we go.
So let's see. O'Neill's shooting with his gun. So that the shot, because he has been injured now, he tries to fire another shot at you on top of your horse, and you hear it whistle past your head, and you actually hear it kind of thud into the wood of the wagon behind you. But it hits it and kind of embeds in the wood harmlessly. Baxter and Jake inside the wagon. You hear this impact, but nothing comes through the wagon. And then it is back around. So Jake is going to poke his head out, and he's going to basically try to fire in the direction of.
I wish there was inspiration.
He's going to fire in the direction of O'Neill because he has switched side with Baxter. So he fires. That's pretty good, Jake's. All right, and he will hit O'Neill. Oh, actually, he's got to roll with a disadvantage die. He still hits him. Nice. All right, he still hits him.
I don't have to lie to his wife now.
No, that's true. And so Jake fires with his Winchester rifle and does. Let's see. How many points did O'Neill have? So Marshall, you see O'Neill sort of disappear backward behind the rocks, like you hear the shot ring out behind you, and you see O'Neill sort of like pinwheel back and disappear into the rocks in that instant. And in the cart, Baxter, Jake's like, I think I got him! And he ducks back down, holding the rifle to his chest, like, and he's kind of shaking a little bit in that instant, and very terrified. And Samuel, what do you do now? You leaped off the back of the wagon. There's gunshots ringing out all around you.
I'm gonna try and take a shot at somebody if they're still visible. You said Boston kind of ducked back, I think.
Yeah, he's so if you poke your head back around from where you've taken cover, you can see him up there, but with the rocks and things, just like if he tried to shoot at you, you've got some cover from him and vice versa. So it would be with a penalty die.
Okay. Not really sure what else I can be doing, so I guess I'll just try and take a shot at him. I'm gonna use the Winchester, I guess.
Okay.
Oop, that's a miss.
All right, so you fire in the direction of Boston, and you can just see where the bullet kind of ricochets off the rocks as he has gotten himself out of the way once again. And then Baxter, come back around. Jake is just sitting there shaking in surprise and babbling about thinking he hit the other fellow, but he's not sure. What do you want to do?
Good shot, and I will take try to take an aim at the.
All right, are you going to hold again and see if he kind of comes back into view, or are you just going to try to shoot him again with the penalty?
I'm taking an aim.
Okay.
At Boston. All
right, so Marshal Otis, now that he's gotten some cover, he kind of rolls around the corner, looks up into the rocks in the area, like assessing, and he is going to attempt to fire at Boston as well. See if I rolled this right. So he fires up into the rocks as well. And it again, like you see more like rock and like dust kind of shatter off as Boston is keeping his head down again in this moment. And then various other members of the party. So George Martin kind of turns around. He's also going to take a shot. Henry Potts fires off at Boston, who is now realizing that it looks like O'Neill has gone down because he has not gotten back up to fire back in this instant. Let's see. George Martin.
He's got to be decent at shooting with a
He's
rifle.
pretty decent. So he fires up into the rocks. He's going to have disadvantage, though. So
it's okay. You'll roll lower.
Oh, shoot. No. That's
the opposite of lower.
I think that's a malfunction.
Yes, that is. So Martin's gun misfires and gets jammed as he tries to fire up into the rocks at Boston. And yeah, that's not good.
He had it coming.
Yeah, I guess so. So then a handful of the others. One bullet goes up into the rocks. Let's see. This time, Boston will attempt to sort of duck lower and dodge. He does not. So Boston will take a hit from bullets that fly up into the rocks around him. Let's see. It's gonna be Cliff's gun, which is all right. So you use Marshall being up close as you are. You see Boston take a hit from that, and as a bunch of bullets kind of fly out and up in his direction, he's trying to hide. What do you do, Marshall, at that point?
I'm gonna take 2 shots at Boston with disadvantage because it's another success for me.
That is a success.
Oh, okay, I failed that time. But I did another 11 damage to Boston.
All right, let's see. Boston. How are you doing, my friend? All right, so Boston, you see him like the shot hits and it's a solid hit, and you see him kind of roll out of sight and disappear behind the rock. And
does it
Yep.
Does it look like the path goes up to these guys? Because I would like to make sure that they're like either worth saving or put them out of their misery.
So it doesn't there's not like a path that goes up to them. It looks to you like they've climbed up and kind of settled themselves up here and have been lying in wait. They've probably been here since the others maybe rode north, and they've sort of been waiting for anybody who was going to follow. So they kind of had time to kind of get up there. It looks like it would take a little bit of effort to kind of climb up and get up to where they were situated in that instant.
I would still like to ride up there and...
Well, you definitely think that you're not going to be able to ride.
Well, I meant right closer because I'm not all that close, am I?
No, you were a decent distance away. Like you all weren't right on top of each other.
I think she'll risk it because this literally means she could get her face blown off.
It's true. All right, so the rest of you see Marshall fires up into the rocks a couple of times, and you see Boston looks like he takes a solid bullet and he kind of disappears behind the rocks completely. And then Marshall starts riding further into this little kind of gully, heading toward them.
Before I go, I'm going to yell at the cart because I assume, I'm going to assume I know that Samuel and Baxter are either in or near the cart.
You can definitely see from where you are, you can see Samuel behind the cart, and you've definitely seen Baxter like aiming from within. Yep.
So I'm going to ask them to cover me. And then I'll start riding off.
Okay. So you all watch Marshall ride further in on her own. You've got your eyes on either side. Just each of you make me a spot hidden roll to keep an eye out for any more trouble.
Please, please, please. Please, please make this roll. Well, thanks, Baxter.
Well, Baxter, unfortunately for Baxter, he's got Jake in the cart distracting him like crazy. Like, because Jake's kind of freaking out a lot about what just happened.
I
So
just shot a man. Oh my god, I think I hit him.
yep. So Baxter, as he's trying desperately to sort of pay attention, Jake literally like pulls on him, like, and is like, "Did you see? Do you think he's dead? Do you think I killed him? Oh my god! Oh my god!" And but Samuel, you are keeping an eye out from your vantage point behind the cart, looking. And as Marshall rides out, no more shots fire out towards you, Marshall. You don't. Nobody else tries to shoot you. As you get closer, make me a listen roll. All right. So with that roll, now you're riding up, and like I said, the rocks go up it's probably about a 40-foot rise on either side, where they were kind of tucked in on the hill beside you. You hear from the right hand side where O'Neill was, you hear just like a low gurgling kind of moan.
Okay.
From the left hand side, you hear a little more distant, you hear a horse, and you hear like the hoofs beats of a horse, like someone is like now riding away on horseback.
Of course, because it's freaking Boston. Well, I still would like to climb up there in case he left anything, because I'm pretty sure he's fairly hurt at this point. Oh, if only that second shot would have hit. Oh, I'm so mad. I still want to like loot whatever campsite they have up there.
All right, so do you dismount and try to go up on the right hand side, or do you dismount?
Probably I go to O'Neill first.
Okay. Meanwhile, George Martin comes out from cover, and he yells to some of his men. He's like, "Get up there and give him some cover. Go, 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 go!" And about a half dozen of the riders sort of mount up real quick and ride into the pass, looking up left and right, kind of giving some cover, heading towards you to give you a little backup, Marshall. So you dismount from Marshall, and you can.
Do I see something where I could lasso a rope in an effort to help myself climb up the rocks?
I mean, there are some like small scrub trees and stuff. You could do you could give me a rope use roll to try and lasso and give yourself a little advantage to get up there safely, because you are currently wounded too, so you're hurt.
But I'll take that success.
Okay, so as the others are riding up, Samuel and Baxter, you watch Marshall pull out a length of rope, quickly lasso up and catch one of these scrub trees. You pull on it a couple times, and it's pretty sturdy. You think it'll give it enough support to help you climb up the hill.
Cool. Does that prevent me from having a disadvantage die at the very least?
Yeah, I'll give you an advantage die for using the rope to climb up there.
I'll take it, because my climb's only 25.
Oh boy. All right, so you climb up. You struggle slightly at first, but you, with the pain from the bullet wound, but you manage to pull yourself up the slope. And as you kind of get up to about the area where O'Neill was firing from, you can see the blood on the rocks and things like that. And you kind of pull yourself up and over and take a look. And he is kind of sprawled over the back of the rise, like his one leg is kind of caught between a couple of rocks, and he's just kind of splayed back with his arms up. His gun has kind of like fallen away a few feet down the slope behind, and he's got blood kind of coming out, trickling out of his mouth, down his face, and you can see like his eyes are kind of glossed over, and he is basically dying. Like you severely injured him, like mortally wounded him, and he's just lying there, and his guns are just splayed out. What's that?
It was Jake who shot.
It was, but
I did some damage to him too. I did 11 points. Thank you very little. I did just as much as Jake did.
Jake did clean up.
Unless it's killing shots.
But yeah, you are fairly impressed.
Kill steal anyway.
Yeah, you are fairly impressed, because it seems that Jake did do a solid job of putting him, finishing him off for you.
I feel conflicted in this moment, because part of me, I'm not going to waste any first aid supplies on him. I didn't bring any up with me anyway, other than like my actual clothing. And while the marshal doesn't have medical training, it seems reasonable to assume that even if we could get him off of here, he's not making it back to town.
Oh no, like looking at him with a marshal's experience, he's this is a mortal wound. You're not
Cool.
gonna
leave
save him.
I'm not gonna shoot him again, like point blank in the head or anything, because that was my other thought. I will just leave him. Can I look to see, because you said they were camped out here?
Yeah, you can make a spot hidden roll.
Alphabetical order self. Oh God.
Nice.
So the rest of you watch as the marshal climbs up and then kind of disappears into the rocks up above on the right hand side. You don't hear any gunshots or anything like that coming from the area as you wait. Marshal, you sort of climb up and over, and you kind of climb past where O'Neill has laid and at this point has expired, and you sort of climb over and sort of balance yourself on the rocks a little bit, and you can see that they dip back down on the other side about 20 feet, and there is a horse tied off down there, and there is also some like blankets. There's a spot where they must have had a fire, but they put it out every morning and things like that. But you can see where it looks like there's a small campsite settled into this little nook in the hill behind here.
And so I don't want to climb down and climb up and then climb back down.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a bad idea, and like it'll hurt. But does this look like it has if we go the path that we were going to go, can we get to their campground?
It looks, let's see. Looking at it, you can like kind of look around, and it looks like they probably doubled back here from like further up the pass.
Okay.
So it looks like they must have ridden further on, and there's a way to get your horses more easily up and behind these areas if you kind of come in from further up the trail to the north.
We don't really need the horse, but I also don't want the guys from the hill to come down the hill and get the stuff. Well, at this point, she's not going to do anything because that's a bad idea. And I think she'll climb back down.
All right. So, probably about 2 or 3 minutes pass, and then Marshal comes back into view over the top of the rise. You can all see when she comes back, you can definitely see that she was, there's blood on her, she's been wounded, but, nothing, you don't see the other fellow that was up there. And Marshal, looking over on the other side, you can see where Boston was situated, but looking, you can see now that he's no longer there. And the sound of the other horse is gone now. You don't hear it anymore as you kind of make your way carefully back down and climb back down the rope.
Boston's gone. Hey, Jake.
Yeah?
Nice shot, bud. You got him.
I kill him?
Well, he is dead now.
Oh boy.
This is a good story to tell your wife, and I don't have to lie to her.
So, thank you.
We've probably just shattered this man for the rest of his life, but at least his wife I got a good story for his wife. She will mount back up and ride towards wherever the medical supplies are, because I like to imagine this shot went through her shoulder or near her shoulder.
That would shake.
And how she fired both of her handguns twice after being shot, I don't really know. Probably a pure adrenaline and how it's starting to wear off. So I think she'll have someone bandage her up and then make a makeshift sling.
Yeah, that's Jake's job.
All right. As you ride back, a couple of Martin's men climb up your rope to the one side to go investigate O'Neill's body, and a couple others are climbing up the slope on the left-hand side to sort of see if they can get eyes on where Boston went to. and so both sides, they kind of disappear for a little bit. You do hear from the left-hand side some gunshots fire a little bit, and then after a couple minutes, a couple heads poke back over, and they're like, we don't know if he was in the horse saddle. We don't know if we took him out or not. He was kind of slumped as he was riding away. We tried to get an extra shot or two into him, but the horse was riding at a pretty good clip heading out of here. But he's looks like he's trying to head north, if anything.
Well, cool.
Samuel's gonna try and check on the drivers once he sees the marshal come down off the rocks.
All right. You move back over, and you can see Mordecai is kind of slightly slumped in the seat next to Elvin, and the wound is it's kind of like in his lower like stomach area, and he's kind of holding it and like breathing a little heavy. His looking a little peaked as Elvin has just the graze shot across the right shoulder, but he seems like he's not really noticing. He's trying to tend to Mordecai. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna shout for somebody to bring over some bandages or something, and then I guess try and help him patch him up, even though I'm not really good at it. Unless we don't have like a doctor with us or anything, right?
You did not bring a doctor with you.
No, okay, so I'm just gonna try what I can do.
All right.
I have a 40. I think we can try.
Okay. Oh, nice.
There we go.
So you check out Mordecai, and you investigate and sort of look at the wound. It's a pretty serious wound. Jake pops his head out. He opens the door to the back of the cart, as you say about medical supplies, and he's got the bag that he was carrying opened up, and he starts handing you some alcohol and some bandages to sort of clean and wrap the wound with. He's like, here you go. There's that another, and then he looks up and the marshal's coming closer, and he holds out some in her direction as well. So you manage to staunch the bleeding as Mordecai he's sort of lost consciousness a little bit. Elvin kind of helps get him down from the driver's seat as he kind of passes out from the pain. But you kind of bind the wound and manage to you think that he's gonna be okay. He's just he's gonna need some serious medical attention from the doctor when you get him back to town.
Yeah, let's get him in the wagon.
My village likely has someone that has.
Well, he's not going to be able to ride or do much. So
we have the carriage.
Okay.
And Sister Michal will take a look at you, Marshal, and see if she looks at the wound and says, it's bleeding very heavily. You definitely need some more tentative medical attention than I can give. And she just sort of cleans it slightly, but doesn't really do anything about binding it and taking good care of it. She looks back at Samuel. You seem like you're capable, Samuel. Why don't you see what you can do with this?
I'll try. Oof.
Son of a... That's not where your finger goes, Samuel. Can I attempt on my own wound?
You can attempt to do some first aid on yourself. As you're going to do so, Henry Potts kind of looks over and walks over as well to give his 2 cents. And he's like, I think if you kind of clean it, nope. Oh, I'm sorry. As he pinches it.
That's not where fingers go, son of a biscuit.
Oh no, that's bleeding worse. Marshal.
Yeah, keep your hands away.
Marshal, why don't you do you want to take a look at this? And Marshal Otis kind of looks over.
Oh, thank God. Oh.
As so you shove everybody else away.
I swear to God, if one more person sticks their finger in my wound right now, I'm a pretty good shot.
You capably bandage your own wound as you shove everybody else away and tell them. Jake just stands there and holds things for you while you do it, trying to be helpful, looking the other way to avoid looking at the wound itself. And you manage to mend it. You get a hit point back from mending it with first aid.
Oh, cool! I'm now 2 above half bloodied.
Yeah, it's good. Mordecai is passed out in the in the wagon on the seat in the back. Jake is cleaning up all of the bandages and things like that. And I think that we will probably end here for tonight, as it is 9. But you all have managed to kill one of the members of the outlaw gang who lay in wait for you in this little ambush pass. You're not sure whether or not Boston survived. He managed to get to his horse, but according to the members of the posse, it seemed that he might be more injured than not. As we are ending, we'll say that some of them are discussing sending a small group riding ahead to try to catch him if they can. And so there's some quick discussion about that while Marshal and Mordecai are being bandaged up and taken care of. And Jake is still trying to come to terms with the fact that he just fired and hit and killed someone. So all that practice aiming the gun without firing may have done him well. That's all it took.
I was gonna say
It would have helped that I told him to use the tip at the end to aim, not the bottom.
Yeah.
Might have kept that information to yourself, Marshal.
Well.
So, all right.
He was gonna hear the story eventually anyway because I have to tell his wife.
It's true.
So that he stops sending him on suicide missions.
Well, I mean,
have a question.
Yes.
Like is the like village is way closer. So if they have someone of mental knowledge.
So you know that the village, it's actually from here. It's fairly equidistant between going to the village in the mountains and going back to Shade at this point, based on what the marshal can tell you. It's probably an easier road to go back toward Shade. As you go further into the mountains, this dirt road is going to get more rocky and less easily to travel. So it might be easier if you wanted to send some of the people back with Mordecai because he's injured so badly, to send him back to Shade versus trying to get him to the village further north into the mountains.
How? I guess it's question for next time. But how? Because we need the carriage to the up. Because, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can think about that. That's a good thing to think about while you're bandaging up your injured and getting settled back in to figure out what happens next. And so why don't we go around and do any plugs if we have any and things like that. So we'll start with Theater Nerd this time around.
Hi, my name's Theater Nerd. I have other things going on during the week. Like opposite Mondays during the afternoon, I run a Blades in the Dark game. That's very interesting. They fought a spirit-possessed person last episode. Oh, that's maybe a spoiler, but and 2 days from now, we should be getting back to masks, and I'm super excited because it's a new arc. My character just took another playbook, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah.
Very cool. And how about you, Anarch Dovey? What do you have going on?
As of right now, nothing really, but yeah, nothing.
All right. And what about you, Ray?
I've been streaming a lot actually when I get the chance to. When I'm not working my day job still. At twitch.tv/Tankstein. Usually on Sundays though. Mostly Sundays.
Nice. Very cool. What do you stream?
Been streaming a lot of Astroneer with a friend of mine, and but also going through a game called Pyre, which is a
Yes, it's so good.
yeah, it's very good.
I do not know this.
It's
Yeah.
by the same company that made Bastion
Yeah,
and
and it's a
Transistor.
it's like a basketball game in a fantasy setting where you're
Soccer.
trying to
It's a lot like soccer, basketball.
and you're trying to free like exiles who are your companions.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't play a lot of games, so I don't know these things. Excellent. And hopefully we will have Joanna back next time. She wasn't feeling well, so we hope she's feeling better. Sister Michal is going to probably have some words for people about, ambushes and things like that. And
they shot first.
They did.
They shot first.
They did. You did try. You did try to do the peaceful solution, and things did not go that way. But and I'm Jeanette.
To be honest, I wasn't sure if it was natives or not. So
that is very fair. It could have been. But I'm Jeanette. You can find me here every other Sunday. I run D&D at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Every other Tuesday night, we run another Call of Cthulhu adventure on the off week from this adventure at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And every other Monday here, we're probably getting close to the end of this we'll see what happens as they chase the outlaws into the hills now, and what else lays in wait as they get to this fort in the northern part of the hills, and what's to come. I don't know, but and who knows? We'll find out what happened to Boston. That'll be something to find out. But we'll see you in 2 weeks back at this time, same place. And thank you for watching. Genli, nice to see you. Hi. And take care, and everybody take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. Have a great night. Goodbye.
Bye.